22,000 miles, and the pack is already at 87%. That missing 13% didn't come from driving, it came from sitting at the wrong state of charge. Lithium-ion cells age from voltage stress, not distance. A car parked full every night can quietly bleed value while looking low mileage. Ignore this number, and you could overpay by $4,000 or more on the spot. Mileage shows where the car has been. HV battery health shows what it has left. Subscribe now, if you prefer data over dealership talking points. Stop thinking like an ICE buyer. Stop judging a Tesla the way you would a gas car. Mileage does not define wear the same way it does in an internal combustion vehicle. There's no engine block slowly breaking down. The battery pack determines long-term value. That's the asset. Lithium-ion cells age from use, but also from sitting at high state of charge. Calendar aging from voltage stress can quietly reduce usable capacity, even if mileage stays low. Large fleet data from Geotab shows average EV battery degradation is gradual, while extended time at high charge accelerates wear. Driving doesn't usually hurt the pack. Leaving it parked at 100% for long periods does. So shift your thinking. Odometer tells you history. Battery health tells you future capacity. And that future determines resale value and range stability. Learn what HV battery health actually means. Understand the number before you trust it. HV battery health is not a guess, pulled from thin air. It's the battery management system, estimating how much usable capacity remains compared to the pack's original nominal capacity. In simple terms, it tells you how many kilowatt hours are still available inside the high-voltage battery pack. But here's the detail most buyers overlook. The BMS works with buffers at the top and bottom of the pack. It also recalibrates over time based on full charge cycles, deeper discharges, and software updates. That means the displayed percentage can shift slightly, depending on recent usage and temperature conditions. It's not random, it's modeled. Displayed range on the screen is calculated from usable capacity and recent energy consumption. So if capacity has faded, rated range drops, quietly. You're not just reading a number, you're reading a long-term capacity trend. Interpreting that correctly is the difference between spotting normal degradation and inheriting someone else's charging habits without realizing it. Open service mode the right way. Access service mode before you assume battery health. Go to software, hold the model name, enter service, navigate to high voltage, and select health test. Understand what this means. The full HV battery health test can take up to 24 hours and requires the vehicle to remain parked with sufficient charge. Tesla's official owner documentation confirms this. It's not something you run during a short test drive. Most dealerships won't perform it before listing the vehicle. Not because they're hiding anything, but because it's time-intensive. Service mode provides real diagnostic access, but it's controlled. Screens vary by software version. Some functions are restricted. Use it when possible. Don't assume it has already been done. And if you can't run the full test, you need a faster way to estimate degradation. Stay with me. The fast way to estimate this without a 24-hour test is next. Calculate the range before you buy. Run the math before you trust the screen. Take the displayed rated range. Divide it by the current state of charge. Multiply by 100. That gives you an estimate of full charge range. If you see 200 miles at 80% SOC, the car projects roughly 250 miles at 100%. Now compare that to the original EPA-rated range for that specific model. The difference is your rough degradation estimate. Simple, fast, practical. But interpret it correctly. Displayed range reflects recent driving style and conditions. Hard acceleration, highway speeds, or hills lower projections. Cold weather temporarily reduces range without indicating permanent capacity loss. Climate use also affects the estimate. Check the average energy consumption in Wall per mile for context. LFP and nickel-based packs may behave slightly differently at higher SOC. A recent 100% charge improves calibration. This isn't precision testing. It's a smart estimate that gives you leverage before price discussions begin. Classify the degradation correctly. Classify the percentage before you react to it. Under 10% degradation is generally normal, especially with moderate mileage. A small decline in usable capacity is expected as the pack settles into its long-term curve. At that level, daily ownership and resale expectations usually remain stable. Between 10 and 15% becomes a negotiation range. It isn't automatically a red flag, but it requires context. Compare mileage, charging habits, and the EPA baseline range. Higher mileage may justify it. Low mileage requires explanation. Above 15% early in the vehicle's life deserves caution. It doesn't mean failure, but it affects valuation and future resale confidence. Keep warranty perspective in mind. Tesla's battery coverage typically protects against capacity dropping below 70% within the warranty period. Most used vehicles remain well above that threshold. You're not deciding whether the battery functions. You're deciding whether the price matches the remaining usable kilowatt hours. Small percentage differences feel minor today. Over years of ownership, they influence flexibility and resale more than most buyers expect. Ask how it was charged, not how it was driven. Ask about charging habits before you ask about mileage. A Tesla with 80,000 miles and disciplined charging can have better usable capacity than a 20,000-mile car stored at 100% every night. Daily 90–100% charging feels responsible. It isn't always optimal. Lithium-ion cells experience higher voltage stress when held at elevated state of charge for long periods. It's the high-voltage storage that accumulates quietly. Calendar aging happens while the car is parked. Long overnight sessions at 90 or 100% increase voltage dwell time. Over months and years, that pattern shapes the degradation curve more than routine driving. Supercharging is often blamed. In reality, occasional DC fast charging within normal temperature limits is not inherently harmful. Repeated high-temperature charging combined with poor SOC management is what matters. Pattern, not panic. Ask direct questions. Was the daily limit set near 70:1? Was 100% reserved for trips? Was most charging done at home on AC power? These details reveal more than cosmetic wear ever will. You're not evaluating driving style. You're evaluating battery treatment, and that determines long-term stability. Price the battery, not the paint. Use battery health as your negotiation anchor. Start with the degradation estimate you calculated. Compare the adjusted full charge range to the original EPA baseline. The gap represents lost usable capacity, and that loss carries value. Translate percentage into price. If a car shows 12–15% degradation, that's not dramatic. But it is measurable. Fewer usable kilowatt hours means slightly reduced daily flexibility and slightly softer long-term resale. That difference justifies a reasonable price adjustment. Keep the discussion factual. Show the math. Reference the EPA comparison. You're not accusing the seller. You're aligning the asking price with remaining capacity. Cosmetics matter. Wheels and interior condition matter. But they don't restore lost energy storage. Battery health defines long-term ownership cost. When you document a service mode reading or present your quick range calculation, the conversation shifts from opinion to data. You're not trying to win. You're trying to buy fairly. Small percentage differences may feel minor today. Over years of ownership and future resale, they compound. Price the stored energy correctly. Now and everything else becomes easier to evaluate. Walk if the numbers don't make sense. Walk away if degradation doesn't match the story. If you see over 15% capacity loss on a low-mileage car, pause. That mismatch between mileage and usable capacity decline needs a clear explanation. Without one, price should reflect the risk, or you move on. Refuse to ignore missing data. If the seller avoids service mode access, won't allow basic range calculation, or dismisses the EPA discrepancy without evidence, that's a signal. You're not demanding perfection. You're asking for transparency. Check the battery warranty status. Confirm remaining years under the 8-year coverage window. Understand where the 70% capacity threshold sits relative to current health. Most cars will be far above it, but verification matters. Watch for resistance to objective inspection. You're not buying based on emotion. You're buying remaining stability. If price is not adjusted for measurable degradation, or ownership history feels incomplete, discipline protects you. There will always be another listing. The goal isn't to avoid every percent of loss. The goal is to avoid inheriting unexplained loss at full price. The bottom line: buy remaining battery life, not past miles. A used Tesla is not defined by how far it has traveled. It's defined by how many usable kilowatt hours are still inside the pack. Mileage is history, capacity is future. When you compare the current range to the EPA baseline, review charging habits, and classify degradation correctly, you stop guessing. You start buying based on energy storage reality. That mental model changes everything. You're no longer reacting to cosmetics or low odometer numbers. You're evaluating long-term value retention, daily flexibility, and resale confidence. Small percentage differences may not feel dramatic today. Over years of ownership, they matter. Clarity protects you. So before you focus on color, wheels, or options, check the number that actually powers the car. If you value clear numbers over forum noise, subscribe for practical Tesla guidance that respects your time.